Hello everyone, welcome back to the Neo4j series. In this video, we'll learn about how to import data using the Neo4j via different approaches. We are going to talk about two approaches. The first approach is via the Neo4j Desktop UI, and the second approach will be using the Cypher scripts via LOAD CSV. So we will also understand when we are going to use the create, when we are supposed to use merge, when we are using load CSV. What is the difference between when we are importing the files from the UI and when we are using the scripts for loading the files. So, and finally, we'll also see how to export data from the Neo4j for further analysis. So let's start with the UI approach. So I have my Neo desktop open. You can see here. So with the help of the Neo4j desktop, we can upload the CSV files using the UI. So it's a very simple step. So first of all, we have to, when we have opened the new 4j desktop, we have to create an instance. So you can see here, for creating the instance, you can click on this button and then you can enter the details. So I've already created an instance named as training, and I have started this instance. You can see here the status is running. Now, once we have done with this one, what we are supposed to do here is you can see a tab here on the left side, which is called as import. So click on the import. Let me remove this one. Yeah. So when you get this import button, when you click on this import button, you can see two options. One is the drag and drop. You can also get the file from the place and you can drop it here. Or the other way is you can click on the browse. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the browse button. So this will allow us to upload a file or upload any file from any location. So now I will go to the desktop and you can see here TMDB 500 movies. I'm going to click on the open. So you can see now we have all the data here. We have got all the files, everything here. The data is being imported. So what happens here is that the file when we upload via UI, so this file is copied into a database import directly, which is managed by the Neo4j internally. We can't control that. Okay, so and it is being stored internally and temporarily. So this method of uploading the data is good for beginners, for when you're trying to give a demo, and also when you're trying to use one-time import. uh, so the advantage here is like you don't need to learn SQL, you don't need to learn the Cypher queries. You can just directly use the UI for uploading it, and you can also upload it from any folder. Please remember, you with the help of this method, you can upload it from any folder in your system. The problem here with this approach is that it is not reproducible, and we can't use it. It's not ideal for the automation purpose. We also have a less control in the transformation. Now, what we can do here is we can connect this data to the instance. So we can click on the connect to instance. So we have this data instance, which is in the status running. We can click on the connect. So automatically it will connect to the instance, which is training, and it will already connect to the database, which is already there. So now the thing here is this was all about how we can import it. Now, if we try to let me go to the local instance, and if I try to do the query, let me try to run a query. So what happens here is when I try to run the query, uh, let's say if I run match and return n. So when I'm going to run this query, we are not going to see any changes. So now the question might be that we have already uploaded the data, we have connected to the local instance, but when we are trying to run the query, we are not getting any records. So this is what why the above query will not work, because it only works when the graph data is available. So uploading a CSV doesn't create the notes automatically. It only makes the file available. Please understand, it only makes the file available. So we must explicitly load the CSV and create the nodes. So in this case, what we have done, we have when we have created this, when we have uploaded this file, so we have to click on this one, add node, and then we have to create the properties and we have to create the graph data. Once this is being done, then we can click on the run import, and then the data will be available for the Cypher queries. So this is also a disadvantage. So next step, you have to create your data model. There's also an option like you can upload your model from the if you already have the model, so you can create the model, or you can download it once you have created it. So those things we are going to look into how to create the data model. In this scenario, we will learn into our different session in detail. So this is first approach of importing the data, how we can import the data. So now the next approach is using to because we have seen that there are so many problems with this type of importing, which is not good for production. So now what we can do, we must explicitly use the Cypher query or the load CSV method uh, for and create the nodes using Cypher queries. This is what we are going to do in our second approach. So now, when we are going to use the Cypher queries, okay, using the queries using the load CSV method, what we are supposed to do, we have to go to the local instance. We have to go to the path. This is the path of this particular instance. I have opened this particular path. Now, then I have to click on the import button, and in this import folder, we are supposed to enter the file which we are going to copy, the CSV file. We have to copy this one here. Otherwise, the load CSV will not work. The reason is that when we are using the Cypher queries, the Neo4j prevents the any kind of we any kind of arbitrary file system access. We can't with the help of the load CSV function, we can't access the file from any part of the system. It's simple as that. You have to put that file inside this particular folder, import folder of that particular instance. The reason is that the Neo4j prevents arbitrary file system access or reading files from any random location. This is done for the security purpose, or this is also done to prevent the accidental data leak. Because we are going to use the data or these type of Cypher queries, okay, for the purpose of productionization. So if there is any critical data of the organization, we can't keep it anywhere in the system. So that's why we use this particular thing. So let me show it with a particular query. So let me go to the query and let me run this. So you can see here we are using the load CSV function because since my file has header, so I'm using the with header. Now, when you look at this particular thing, file, comma, slash, slash, slash. So this particular path, only this particular region, file, colon, slash, 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 three slash, refers to this particular folder, import folder of that particular instance. So that is why when you try to put the file in any random location, the query will not work. That's why it's important to put the file inside this particular folder. Now, when we run this, so it's going to return the records accordingly. You can see here, we can see all the records because I've used limit 5, so it's only showing only the 5 records. And you can also see like it has this method is using the proper it's using the above query, this load CSV query. It's not creating any data. It is just reading the CSV, okay, like a table preview, and helps us to understand the column names, data format, separators, okay, what is the content in the data. So this way we can only load the CSV and it's not going to create any data. You can see here still we don't have the nodes 0, relationship 0, properties keys zeros. The other way is we can also use the keyword create. So I can show you one more query. So in this query, we are using the same method, load CSV, but we are using the create. So what will happen here is it's going to create the nodes like budget, popularity, rating, language, release date, etc. So let me run this particular query. So I'm getting some error. So I think there is some issue with the query. So let me run this query again. Yes, now it should work. Now you can see here it has created these many nodes, 4,803 nodes, and added this many labels, 4,803 labels. You can see here also the nodes are being created, and now you can use any queries to access the data in the detail. So in simple words, what's happening in the above queries? We have used the create keyword, which creates a new node. Now, what will happen if you run this query again? So if the problem with the create keyword is like when you try to run it again and again, it's going to duplicate the data. It's going to create the same number of nodes because here we are going to create the nodes. So again, if I run the same queries, you see now it's 4,803 nodes. It's going to create again the same nodes. You can see now it has doubled 9606 nodes. Okay, so that's a kind of a disadvantage of a create keyword. Okay, it's always create a new and it can always create a duplicate. Okay, now we can also see we have call in case here. So it what it does is like it breaks the large data into smaller batches, and it also prevents the caches. So and we have also provided a condition like vote average should be greater than equal to 7. So this is the logic which we have prevent. So the above query using create is good. But when we are loading the fresh data, when you're doing it a kind of a first time operation, it is a very good approach. And sure, and there is not no first time you're not going to create any duplicates. Okay, but if you try to use it again and again, then it's going to create a problem. Now what we are going to do, we are going to delete this particular thing which we have created. So I'm going to use the same match detach delete n. So what it is going to create, it's going to delete the nodes. I'm doing this because to avoid any kind of problem duplication. So you can see here now the nodes is 0, relationship is 0. Now, in the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to use the import, but instead of using the create, we are using the merge. With the help of the merge, it avoids duplication. So let me show you with this particular query. Now, what we are trying to do here is we are using the merge. Okay, let me run this. It's going to create the nodes. It's going to create the relationships also because we have mentioned the relationship also. So you can see here, it has created the nodes. Okay, and it has also provided the property keys. How many property keys are there? So basically, merge is used like if the data exists, we can reuse it. If you're trying to, if you're creating the data pipelines, it is very helpful for updating the data. And if it doesn't, so what merge is just if the data exists, it's going to update it or it's going to reuse it, or if it doesn't, so then it's going to create the data. So it's much more better than the create keyword. Then the next thing is like it's very useful. This merge is very useful when we are trying to work with the incremental loads. Um, when we are trying to update the data, when we are updating the data which is loads in a form of a batch, uh, then rerunning the script safely. So it's mostly suited, as I told, for designing the pipelines. The best way to now the in this is all about this one. Now what we are going to do, we are going to delete the this particular data. So now what's happening here is like if you see, if I try to delete this, it is going to delete the nodes. See, it deleted all the nodes. Okay, but you can see the property keys are not deleted. So basically, property keys are the metadata which is stored in the Neo4j system catalog, and it's used for query planning and optimization. So if you want to, I can just give an hint. You can find it out yourself. If you want to delete the whole property keys and everything, deleting the nodes as well as deleting the metadata also, you can use the drop keyword. And with the help of you, with the help that you remove the entire database. So you can find it out yourself. Now, this is one of the about the exporting, how we can export the data using load CSV. Uh, Now, the next thing is which we are going to talk about is how we can export. Uh, so, so the best way to export the data using the UI is like you can see this is the query. You can just click on this button, download button. When you click on the download button, you can see download CSV, download in the form of JSON, copy CSV, copy as GIF table. So you can download it as per your convenience. So if you're running any queries or if your query Cypher query returns in a result which is required for further analysis, so then you can simply do it like this way. We can also do it with the help of the script where we use the epoch. But epoch we are going to look into it in detail when we are going to talk about. There's going to be a separate session for the epoch. And this was all about this session. If you have any questions, please write it down in comment section. And also, if you find this video useful, please like, subscribe to the channel for more useful content.